If I could go back 10 years, I would slap my younger self hard in the face with this one very simple sentence. Most men are trying to fix their life in the wrong order. They chase girls first, or they chase money first, or they chase the perfect fat loss hack first. And then they wonder why they feel broke, insecure, and tired, and still soft around the edges, around the waist. So, in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to give you the exact lessons that took me over a decade to learn about losing fat without hating your life, building muscle without spinning your wheels in circles, and why your health is the ultimate cheat code that makes wealth and relationships a whole lot easier. Because before we get into today's video, we all know that a fulfilled life should revolve around our health, our wealth, and our relationships. And we're constantly trying to improve one, if not all of these areas. And without having one of these things within our life will just feel a bit incomplete. So I have some really nuanced perspectives on this, which I think you'll really appreciate. Now, I have spent years obsessing over this. I've prepped for 3 bodybuilding shows. I have ran 5 marathons, and I'm literally running my 6th marathon tomorrow, the Austin Marathon. Very much looking forward to that. And I've helped coach over hundreds of busy men, and I've watched what actually works when life gets chaotic. And by the end of this video, you'll notice simple fundamentals that make results literally automatic, and you'll understand the correct order from A to Z to build the life you actually want. And we'll break this down into 3 separate parts. The first part will be the fat loss truths no one has told you ever before. Secondly, the muscle growth truth most guys ignore. And then thirdly, the life order that makes everything easier. Health, then wealth, then relationships. So let's get into it. Starting with lesson number 1. Fat loss is not a method. It is a system that you can repeat. Here's what took me way too long to accept. The best fat loss plan is the one you can repeat on your worst weeks. Not your best weeks, not your most motivated week ever after watching a David Goggins video to get you hyped up, your worst week. The weeks where everything just seems to go against you. It's raining, the sun isn't shining, maybe you're having some issues at work, maybe some issues with your family, with your relationships. You're just not in a good state. But if you can still follow through on your commitments on the plan in that state, and I remind this to my clients all the time, it just gives you so much evidence and gives you all the proof you need in the world to suggest that, hey, next time something bad to me happens, whether it is something at work or in my relationships or whatever it may be, you can look back on this time and say, hey, you know what? This is a stressful time. This phase in my life sucks right now, but I've gone through this before. I've shown to myself that I can do this. And so this just gives you so much evidence and so much confidence moving forwards that you are pretty much unstoppable. You are unbreakable because you can go through adversity. You can go through rough patches, and you know that a bump in the road will not derail you from getting back on track again. I've been in fitness for the past 10 years, and over the span of these past 10 years, of course, it hasn't always been easy. Of course, there's been issues. Of course, there's been like bumps along the road. Yet I'm still here with 6-pack abs, having helped hundreds of busy men do the exact same thing. So it is possible. And fast forward 10 years later, every single day that goes by, I just feel more and more confident because the evidence just keeps stacking and stacking and stacking, where I honestly feel like I'm unbreakable. I'm unstoppable. I know for a fact that I will never get fat again. I will never get out of shape again because I've literally lived almost half of my life this lifestyle, right? And if you can prove that to yourself, you'll feel the exact same way. I talk to a lot of people and they have this imposter syndrome where sure, they maybe get some quick results, and you literally see this in the results where they get quick results, but then because they haven't gone through the journey and built up the habits necessary to sustain those results, they go back to their old habits again. They go back to their old ways. It's almost like giving a fat person 6-pack abs with their current habits, how long do you think they'd be able to sustain those results? Probably not very long, right? Whereas if you give a person with six-pack abs and you just slap on a bunch of fat on them with their current pre-existing habits, how long do you think it'll take them to lose all that fat? Pretty quickly, probably, because it doesn't matter what body you find yourself in. It's about the lifestyle that you have and the habits that you have that can determine your future, right? So if you can find a plan and find something that you can stick to on your worst weeks, I guarantee you, you are going to feel unstoppable, because fat loss is not about finding like a magical supplement or this magical diet. It is about just simply being able to control your hunger, control your energy, and consistency. And the fastest way to do all of this, unfortunately, is boring. It's not something you find on Instagram Reels on your Explore page. That's like eye-catching. It's simply high protein, high volume foods, daily movement, and sleep. That is it. On that note, protein is the hunger cheat code. Protein matters so much because it helps with satiety and it helps keep your muscle while you are dieting. It is the ultimate fat loss cheat code. If you are trying to lose body fat and build muscle without a high protein diet, you are making it almost near impossible to achieve your results. So many people demonize protein. Oh, it's bad for your kidneys. Oh, it's not good for this, not good for that. Now, if you have pre-existing kidney issues, maybe don't overdo it on the protein, but 9 out of 10 people watching, you are going to be completely fine. If anything, you're going to feel a lot better increasing your protein intake. We've got so much strong evidence to suggest that higher protein diets can improve your fullness, support fat loss, and help preserve lean muscle during weight loss. So if you're always hungry while you're in a calorie deficit, 9 times out of 10, you are under proteined and eating hyper palatable snacks that don't fill you up. You're eating brownies, you're eating granola bars, you're eating chips, you're eating all this stuff with like no protein in it. And then you wonder why you're never truly satisfied. I guarantee you, up the protein. You won't feel the need to graze or snack anymore. So here's a very simple rule. Build every single meal around real protein first, ideally real protein. Yes, there is like supplements, protein cookies, protein bars, protein shakes, but they're not as filling. If you can physically chew your food, like a good old steak, some chicken breast off the bone, something like that, right? Where you physically have to chew and like work your jaw muscles, which is kind of like a nice little added bonus. It's going to have to go through your digestion process, and your body has to work a lot harder to break down and digest the food compared to just slapping down a quick 30-gram whey protein shake. I'm not against protein shakes. I'm obviously sponsored by My Protein. I get all my supplements from them and their clothes, but I don't like, I take it on a needs basis and not like a wants basis, if that makes sense. Like if I'm on the go, yes, I'll have a protein shake or a protein bar if I'm traveling, anything like that. But I mean, ideally, like I get most of my protein from like salmon, shrimp, chicken breast, steak, eggs, Greek yogurt. It's like real foods that requires me to use my jaw muscles. And once again, it just makes me feel so much more satiated. Another thing here when it comes to fat loss, your steps, like when you walk, your steps, that thing you do matter a whole lot more than your fat burning workouts. And a lot of people have this the other way around, where they neglect their daily steps and only focus on this whatever workout they see on Instagram Reels, fat burning workout, ab blaster. And coming from a fitness influencer myself, I consider myself a coach, but some people will call me an influencer because I have however many followers on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. All of these influencer type of workouts you see, people, like the influencer itself who is showing you is not actually doing that workout. And that's not how they actually built their physique. They built their physique by literally doing the things that I'm telling you to do right now. High protein diet, calorie deficit, high volume foods, steps, resistance training, basic stuff done over years and years and years. And they maybe show these quick little exciting, cool ab workouts on Instagram for just a couple clicks, a couple views. It's like, hey, I look pretty lean. I look shredded. Let's do some weird dances. And it gets a bunch of views. It gets a bunch of clicks. And people get excited. People will hit the save button. And they'll share it with their friends, thinking that it'll help them burn 1,000 calories and somehow achieve their physique. But no, that's not, unfortunately, that's not the case. And I do empathize with this because that is how I kind of got into this space as well, where I would listen to an influencer. His name was Mike Chang, Six Pack Shortcuts, and he would literally showcase 5-minute workouts, 10-minute workouts, and I would literally do them on YouTube. I put it on my computer, full screen in my room in the basement, and I'd do these follow along type of workouts, thinking that would help me lose body fat, gain muscle. But that could not be further from the truth. I kept on falling off. I was inconsistent because I wasn't seeing results. And it wasn't until I actually did my research and like stuck to the basics, ate like I actually cared about my body, ate protein, ate less calories than I burned, resistance trained properly, adding more weight to the bar, increased my steps when I actually saw results. So once again, this is where most guys waste years, including myself, right? When I first got into fitness, 14, 15, literally all throughout high school, I wasted years on these stupid little workouts, right? And yeah, I see the same thing now. Most guys, they do some random workout program, but outside the gym, right? Going back to your steps matter a whole lot on your fat burning workouts. Outside of those whatever workouts, they sit all day. They do nothing. They sit on the couch. They barely move and then wonder why nothing changes. And so your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, your non-exercise movement, your NEAT is a massive part of your daily calorie burn and actually burns a lot more calories throughout the day than your quick little workout that you just did. And so to translate this, if your workouts are great, but your daily movement is trash, your results will also be trash. So here's the fix. Set a non-negotiable step floor. The amount of steps you need every single day. Even 8 to 12,000 steps done consistently changes the game. This is where we have most of our clients at. It is not too much. It's not too little. It is a good sustainable amount where you can still be active without it interfering with your workouts. It doesn't impact your joints or connective tissues. Anyone can do it at any time. There's no excuses. And it'll burn hundreds, if not thousands of calories all throughout the week without you having to look silly doing crazy workouts. Another one here is sleep. Sleep is not just recovery. It is appetite control, which a lot of people don't talk about. This lesson alone would have saved years of diet pain, because when sleep gets cut, when you cut your sleep to as little as 6 hours a night, hunger hormones and appetites tend to shift into the wrong direction. Short sleep has been linked with increased hunger and appetite signals. And controlled sleep restriction studies have shown that people who people eat more calories, especially late at night when they are sleep deprived. I talk about this all the time. Your leptin, which signals that you're satisfied, goes down. The hunger hormone in your body that signals that you're full goes down. And ghrelin, which signals to your body that you're always hungry and craving more food, goes up when you are not sleeping enough. So the easiest thing anyone can start doing right away as soon as you're done watching this is if you can just set a consistent bedtime routine and morning routine, your life will change, completely change. Not just from a fat loss perspective, but just from a circadian rhythm perspective, energy perspective, mood perspective, overall quality of life, 100%. So if you are trying to be disciplined and tell yourself, sleep is for the weak, I'll sleep when I'm dead, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. If you're trying to discipline your way through cravings while sleeping 5 to 6 hours, you're literally fighting against your body and you're fighting biology. So don't do that, because your body and biology will always, always win. So here's the fix. Protect sleep like it's part of your macros. That's where you should view your sleep at. Just like you would schedule in whenever you clock in and clock out of work, do the same thing with your sleep. Clock in and clock out of your bedtime and morning routine, 100%. And then last thing here when it comes to the diet is the exit plan. Everyone talks about how to enter a fat loss phase, how to enter into a calorie deficit. And that's the easy part. But no one talks about what do you do after? And this is where most people yo-yo. So please listen carefully. A deficit, a controlled calorie deficit, which is what you put yourself in if you want to lose body fat, it's a phase. It is just a phase, and it is not a lifestyle. If you never have an exit plan, you either diet forever and feel miserable forever, or you rebound, binge, and gain all the weight back again. So here is the right move. Diet until you hit a realistic milestone. So before going into your fat loss phase, you should have a rough kind of like game plan of like, okay, I want to lose X amount of weight. 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever. Once you have hit your desired weight for that specific fat loss phase, slowly bring your calories back up to your new maintenance, not your old maintenance calories, but your new maintenance calories, which will likely be a lot lower because now you have a new body at a lower body weight that is just smaller. And because it is smaller, it does not require as many calories, as much energy to maintain this weight because it's simply smaller and doesn't require as much, right? So be careful with that. Bring your calories back up to your new maintenance while keeping your protein intake high, your steps consistent, and training hard. You want to keep your habits that you have hopefully gained and learned from your fat loss phase and bring it to your maintenance phase. Because if you let go of those habits, it becomes very, very difficult to maintain the results that you got during that phase. And now maintain long enough that your new body becomes normal, where your hormones come back to normal, energy comes back to normal, trainings, pumps, all these things, and you're back to hitting PRs and you're back to living your normal life. That is it. That is the key right there. And that is how you stop yo-yoing up and down forever. Okay, so that was the first lesson, all about fat loss. Now let's talk about the second lesson, muscle growth. Muscle. It is slower than you want and simpler than you think. Because most guys think muscle growth requires the perfect supplement stack, perfect exercise routine, and the perfect timing. No. Muscle growth simply requires 4 things. Number 1, progressive overload. Number 2, enough hard sets over time. So the amount of sets you do per workout, per week. Thirdly, recovery. When you are breaking down your muscle, you are literally, like when you're working out, you're breaking down the muscle. You're almost like digging yourself into a hole. And now if you don't allow yourself to get out of that hole, you're just digging a deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper hole. How do you expect to get out of that hole? Especially like once it gets super deep, it's like, yeah, like you got to recover from that eventually. And that's like the definition of recovery. If you're able to dig yourself in a hole, but then recover, and come slightly above baseline again. That is the definition of recovery. If you're able to repeat or slightly improve from last week's performance. And so if you notice that you're not able to progressively overload, get stronger, add more reps, add more weight over time, it means that the hole that you've been digging during your workouts in terms of sets, hard sets that you're doing is probably way too much because you're by definition not able to recover from what you're doing. So this is different from person to person. Some people are like on the higher volume end of things, whereas other people only need a little bit of volume. It really depends on your intensity, your experience level, the type of exercise you do. Some of them can be very stimulating, whereas others maybe not as much. So you need a bit more volume, but I don't want to get into that topic because that requires a lot of nuance and really like getting deep into the actual workout program itself. But those are just some general principles you got to keep in mind when it comes to building muscle. Progressive overload, enough hard sets per week per muscle group, enough recovery, and enough patience. The mistake that keeps you small is chasing novelty. New plan every 1 to 2 weeks to spice things up, to keep it exciting. Because Arnold once said, you got to shock the muscle, right? You want a new splits, you want to do different exercises, or you want to try this new influencer workouts, but your body responds to progressive tension over time. You need a core set of lifts that you can track and improve. This includes your presses, your pulls, your squat patterns, your hip hinges, and accessories done with control. And then with those fundamentals, you add reps over time, you add load, or you improve your form week by week. That is it. Stick to the basics, stick to the fundamentals, and just do it for a very consistent period of time. Thirdly, here is recovery. This is a growth multiplier. If you train hard but sleep poorly, eat randomly, and lift in this like stressed out state, you're basically pressing the gas and the brake at the same time. You're going nowhere. Doesn't matter how hard you push the gas, if your foot is still on the brake, you're not going to move. You're going to be stuck. Also, resistance training has been associated with improvements in mental health, outcomes, and self-esteem in research reviews, which matters because confidence will affect your consistency. It 100% will. So you're not just building muscle. You're building a version of you that shows up daily. And here is the lesson that I really looked forward to talking with you guys today about. This is the third lesson. We talked about fat loss. We talked about muscle growth. Hopefully that was clear with you guys, but now let's talk about something that most, I would say, young men have backwards in life. And once again, I am making this video for my younger self. I wish I had watched this video 10 years ago when I first got into the whole fitness game and when I was trying to figure out my life of where I wanted to go in life, what I wanted to do. Health. Focus on health. Health first makes wealth and relationships easier. Going back to what I said at the start of this video, health, wealth, and relationships. These are the three pillars that everyone needs in life to some extent. We all need to have relationships, whether it's like friendships, relationships, romantic relationships, any type of relationship. We all need wealth to some extent in order to pay the bills, live the lifestyle that we want to live, take care of ourselves, take care of other people, raise a family, right? So we all need these things. And then lastly, we all need health, because without health, you can't really do any of these other two things. Travel, explore, create new memories, experiences, or just being able to just have the relationships you want and have the wealth you want. Without proper health, you're dead, basically, right? And so this is the part that's going to hit some of you right in the chest. A lot of young men like to chase women first. And yeah, that was me. Elementary school, high school, it was the only thing I would think about. Women, women, women. I was a horny little guy trying to chase, as most guys in their teens would, right? And they want validation, just like I wanted validation. I tried to fit into the cool kids group, try to go to the parties, try to just do whatever it took essentially to, be around more women, basically. And then the second thing I did was chase money, thinking money would fix how I felt on a daily basis. But here's the thing. If your body is weak, if your energy is low and you're constantly drained and your confidence is fake and you don't respect yourself, like if you look at yourself in the mirror and you feel like you're not proud of the person staring back at you, you are going to accept lower standards, tolerate bad relationships, burn out chasing money, and sabotage everything with inconsistency. So here's why health comes first always. When you are in shape, when you are in tip-top phenomenal shape, you got your six-pack abs, you lost the body fat, you've built up some decent muscle, a few things will happen automatically. You carry yourself differently. You have a different swagger, mojo about you. Your energy is higher. You think clearer. You become harder to shake emotionally. And you look like someone who keeps promises to himself, because whenever I look at someone who has six-pack abs, it's not just like, okay, cool, they have abs, but it shows me so much about that person. It shows me they have hard work. They are resilient. They can delay their gratification. They are consistent. They don't rely on motivation. They don't require willpower or discipline or anything. Right? It shows so much about a person. And by you going through that transformation and being able to focus on your health and look the part, that changes how people respond to you. Would you rather do business with a fat person who smells weird, who carries himself poorly, or with someone who's in tip-top shape, confident, walks like a leader, and has this aura around him? You probably do with the second person who is in shape. Of course you would. Because when you are in better shape, you walk into rooms differently. You network differently. You negotiate differently. And you lead differently. Health builds the foundation for wealth because you can work longer with more clarity and less burnout. And health builds the foundation for your relationships because you stop begging for validation and start choosing from standards. And here's the encouraging part. If you feel like you've already dialed in your relationships and your wealth, and your health is kind of neglecting, I guarantee you, if you improve your health, these other two pillars in life are going to drastically increase. So I think this should be a good thing for you. Like if you're already excelling in life, but you know that deep down, like, okay, I could probably lose a couple more pounds. I mean, dude, you have so much potential. Imagine now if you just really focus on your health now, your wealth and your relationships will just explode. It'll go through the roof. Whereas if you want to improve these things, but they're kind of like slacking a bit, and you notice that your health is slacking a lot too, if you focus on your health first, I guarantee you, you'll make more money, and you'll have better relationships. I guarantee you that. I know this firsthand. I've noticed with all of the clients that we help, their sex life improves and their money increases. It happens all the time. And it's not a coincidence. So for me, the biggest shift was realizing this. When I'm locked in on my training, my sleep, and my nutrition, my simple meals, everything improves. My work output goes up. My mood is constantly better. My discipline just becomes automatic. And the right connections show up because I'm operating like a high standard man. I carry myself. I have this aura around me. I have this swagger around me. And it's kind of like this magnetic thing where, yeah, we just want to be around people who are constantly happy, who like, we don't want to be around people who are constantly complaining and like sulking and like just like in a bad mood. Like, no, we want to be around people and we are attracted to people who are always happy, who are uplifting, who are positive, who bring other people up, who bring themselves up, right? Like it's contagious. We want to be around that, right? And so let me close with this. Build your body first and your life gets easier to build. I guarantee you that. And if you want my help doing this the simple way, without giving up your favorite foods or living inside of the gym, you can go ahead and book a free consultation call with me down below, where we'll go over your current goals to see exactly how much weight you're looking to lose, 20 all the way up to 50 pounds, even 100 pounds. We've helped people do it. We'll look at what your current struggle is. We'll see what's holding you back. Is it your diet, your workout program, lack of accountability, whatever it may be? And we'll create a game plan together to help you absolutely crush these goals in the next 3 to 6 months. If that sounds good to you, the link will be in the description down below, and I'll see you all there. Peace.